Hey everybody, it's Jack and Dan.
What's up, guys? What are we doing today, dude?
We're gonna make the best peanut butter ever.
That's right, we're gonna make peanut butter and almond butter. Because some people are allergic to peanuts and they have to have almond butter if they want to have a nut butter. Almond butter is a little bit more expensive, about twice as much. Nutritionally, pretty much the same thing, but it also tastes really awesome. You might have seen something like this. We get this once in a while, don't we, dude?
Yes.
This is Trader Joe's peanut butter. What they do is they add chia seeds and flax seeds to it. What that does is that helps to balance out all of the omega-6 fats that are in these kind of nuts. Add some omega-3s. And having more omega-3 fats in your nutrition, we talked about, helps to reduce inflammation, helps to raise good cholesterol, otherwise known as HDL or high-density lipoproteins.
Yeah, it has a different texture to it, but not really that much.
Yeah, it's not that gritty like you would think it would be. But part of the thing is they really don't have that much in here. You can see right here, there's only about 330 milligrams of alpha-linolenic acid in here. Alpha-linolenic acid, or shortened ALA, is an omega-3 fat that is really good, but it's not nearly as potent as DHA. Now, our bodies turn it into DHA, but it does so at a very low rate. So you need more of it. We're going to show you how to make something like this on your own. This is about $3.50, maybe $4 at Trader Joe's. We're going to show you how for about the same price you can make this, but it'll have about 5 to 6 times the amount of omega-3s in it. Now, when it comes to flax seeds and chia seeds, flax seeds are simply better. Nutritionally, they're almost exactly the same, but if you do the research on it, you'll see that flax seeds have a particular type of fiber that help to feed a certain kind of gut biome known as lignans. And lignans really help to reduce inflammation and specifically have been shown to reduce many forms of cancer by feeding that good microbiome. Now, we get a huge bag like this of organic flaxseed at Costco for literally $6 or $7. A lot of times it's on sale and it's great. We put it in our oatmeal and stuff like that, and we're going to use that to mix in here. Now, as far as peanut butter goes, obviously you want to try to find one that doesn't have sugar added, like this one, or palm oil. A lot of times they will add palm oil to things like this, and that will add more saturated fat. This is a great little brand. These are literally $2 at Mark's, and you can see that it separates at the top, and we're going to talk more about that in a minute. So this was about $4 for these two, and we did get the crunchy because we like the crunchy. And of course, the other thing you want to look for is get one that doesn't have any added sodium. There's just no reason to have more salt in here, okay? So this is actually pretty healthy, pretty awesome. And for those people that just want the wonderful taste of almonds, or if they have a peanut allergy but can still eat almonds, some people can, just look for something, again, very comparable. This cost about twice as much. This is about $5 or $6. Again, almonds just cost more. You want to look for the same thing, though. No added sodium, no added sugar. You can see right here, added sugar, 0. So this is really good. These are not organic. The organic ones do cost a lot more most of the time. But if you can find these, at least try to look for the non-GMO, which these are, which means they at least won't be having glyphosate in them, which is Roundup. That's pretty much one of the worst herbicides that there is. So that's a good thing to try to look for, at least look for non-GMO. It's usually not much more expensive to find that. So we're going to take these, we're going to add a little bit of flaxseed oil after we pour that oil off. We're going to show you how to do that. We're also going to add a little cinnamon. Cinnamon is an awesome antioxidant and a really great way to add flavor and reduce inflammation in your nutrition. A couple of weeks ago, we did a video on how we order Ceylon cinnamon and how we keep it. And we're going to be adding a little bit of that too, just to make the taste that much more awesome. You can disregard these numbers. This is something that we used this jar for a long time ago. Okay, so the first thing you're going to notice when you take a seal off of something like this, these kind of natural peanut butters, which of course you should always try to use because they're not going to have like, you know, a bunch of added junk. You're going to notice there's a lot of oil on the top because it separates. What we're going to do is we're going to pour that oil out. And the reason is, and we're going to actually measure it so we know how much more to add in. And you can see that comes off pretty easy. Now, you're not going to get all of it, but you're going to get most of it. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look good? Now, the reason we're doing that, again, is because most nuts, other than walnuts, really, are mostly all omega-6. And even walnuts are mostly omega-6. They're only about 1/4 omega-3 fats, which definitely makes them healthier, but they're also more expensive. So this is kind of a cheaper way to do this. Now, if you've never seen our videos on walnut butter, you can also buy that, but it's really expensive, really expensive. So now that I'm pouring this oil kind of off of here, what we're doing is we're looking at that. Now that's a 1/2 cup thing, so that's about 1/4 cup of peanut oil. Now a lot of people would cook this, maybe use it in a stir fry or something like that. We're simply gonna pour it down the drain because we don't want this omega-6 fat in our nutrition. Now though, when we mix this up, we know how much flaxseed oil to add, which will be about 1/4 cup. Because with adding all these seeds, we don't want it to be really dried out. Now obviously, if you're getting rid of oil down your drain, make sure that you're running hot water. And that really goes for anything that you're, cleaning or anything like that. You don't want to clog your drain just because you're trying to be healthier. So you're going to take all this peanut butter out of these containers and you're just going to dump it right into this big mixing bowl. There's the first jar, and there's the second jar. Now, if we don't get all this out, what do we do with these? We give them to the doxies, don't we?
Yes, they like to lick them out.
The wieners love to lick these out. Now, obviously, you could also use your own nut butter. Lots of people make their own nut butters. This is pretty cheap, and for non-GMO, we think it's a good deal. We're just going to buy it. All right, so we're just going to put the lids on those and set them aside, and that'll be a nice little treat for the wieners. They love that. We'll probably even make a video of it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 1/2 cup here, and we're going to put 2 of these in there. This is going to be an entire cup of ground flax seeds. What this equates to is about 1 teaspoon of ground flaxseed for every tablespoon of nut butter. So you're getting, in a serving, 2 teaspoons, which is a lot more than you're getting in the whole Trader Joe's ones. Now you might think after mixing this up, this is gonna get kind of dry and stuff, but that is where the flaxseed oil comes in. We're gonna put 1/4 cup of this back in to add a little more, liquid, so it's not so viscous, to replace the peanut oil that we took out. What that will do is add a lot more omega-3s. And we have talked a lot about flaxseed oil. This is organic flaxseed oil. We get it from Swanson. Very easy to get. And we do recommend that people use flaxseed oil instead of other oils. If you're going to use oil, it's the way to go. Has a ton of omega-3s in it. Okay, so Jack's mixing it up with a big old fork. I'm going to add the flaxseed oil. And we're just going to mix that all in. And then we're going to throw in the amazing cinnamon. All right, for the cinnamon, we find that about 1/4 to 1/3 cup is really, really good. You really don't need more than that. You're just gonna kind of do the same thing, is kind of mix that in a little bit. Again, that is gonna dry it out a little bit, and that's one of the reasons we add that flaxseed oil back in. So just keep stirring that up, buddy.
Kind of looks like chocolate at this point.
Yeah, you can actually use cocoa powder too. You can add cocoa powder to this if you'd like. We just like the way it tastes with cinnamon. You can add cocoa powder instead of cinnamon, or you can add them both. It's really good either way. You've seen a lot of like chocolate peanut butters and stuff. A lot of times, however, they have a lot of palm oil. A lot of people don't realize that just regular cocoa powder is actually quite healthy for you. Has next to no fat, has a lot of fiber and a little bit of protein. It's actually really good. All right, so what we're gonna do is just pour this into a mason jar like this. You can see it's kind of warm because we were mixing it up, but it will get a little thicker. And you're just gonna pour this into a mason jar. We keep mason jars around. And then you'll put it in the fridge, and it'll be good for a very long time.
That looks pretty good. Doesn't look too dyed. Doesn't look too oily.
All right, that pretty much fits perfect in there. Tops it off. We're going to put that in the fridge. Now, here's what we would recommend. It is going to be good right away, but as those flax seeds sit in there, even though they're ground, they're going to kind of absorb some of that oil, and they're going to get softer. In the beginning, it's going to taste a tiny bit gritty. Go ahead and give it a try, buddy. Still going to be really good.
That's pretty good.
It's awesome, isn't it? That cinnamon in there.
Gritty. It's not too gritty.
Right, but it will be a little less gritty as it sits. So anyway, there's that big jar. We're going to throw that in the fridge. And we're going to basically do exactly the same thing with the almond butter now. Okay, so Jack is finalizing the almond butter mixture here. We did it exactly like the peanut butter. Really, 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 really good. Really awesome. We did want to mention, too, a lot of people have questions about the flaxseed
Milled flaxseed basically just means ground flaxseed. Okay, you want to grind it up. If you can buy it ground, that's fine. Definitely after you open it, put it in the fridge to preserve it. Omega-3 fats do break down at room temperature after time. So we're going to seal this up, put it in the fridge. The reason you want to get ground or milled or grind them yourself, which you can easily do in the blender, just throw them in the blender and they'll grind them up and keep them in the fridge, is because you're going to absorb a lot more of the fat that's on the inside of the seed. Flax seeds are very hard and flat, and unless you're chewing them for, several minutes, you're not really going to grind them up to get to the inside stuff there. So just grind them or buy them ground or whatever, keep them in the fridge, and they're great. We use them for all kind of stuff, but putting them in nut butters like this is an awesome way to get more fiber, protein, and omega-3 fats.
All right, guys, there you are. So we got a big whopping jar of almond butter with flax seeds and cinnamon, and we got a big old whopping jar of peanut butter. These will last us about 2 months around here, especially both of these, maybe even 3, and they seem to stay good in the fridge. We've never had any kind of problem or anything like that, so we definitely keep them in the fridge. This is an awesome, very quick, easy way to get more omega-3 fats in your nutrition, right, buddy?
Yes.
And you love these kind of things. So sometimes we put them on our ice cream. We like Trader Joe's soy ice cream, very good.
Sometimes we put a lot of it on the bottom and we put the ice cream on top and you scoop it. It's a good combination.
Yeah, we'll probably do a video on that. We haven't done a video on one of our sundaes. We need to do that. Yeah. You can put it on apples or other fruit. You can make a little toast in the morning with it. We're actually going to be doing a video in a couple of weeks featuring this along with Trader Joe's dark chocolate hummus.
Yes.
They go really good together, and we're going to make some wraps out of those, some breakfast wraps, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you hit the bell and subscribe so you don't miss that video. That's a great little awesome breakfast hack, isn't it?
Yes.
We'll see you next time, guys. Have an awesome day.
Bye-bye.
Oh, man, that almond butter. It's amazing.